Tell Me on syndicatednews.net. This afternoon we're talking to Jill Egizii, alderwoman from Chicago, Illinois, president of the Parental Alienation Awareness Organization, and host with Judge Michelle Lawrence on Family Matters here at syndicatednews.net. Jill, would you give us your take on this Penn State tragedy?
Absolutely, Ruthie. As president of Parental Alienation Awareness Organization, where we work towards protecting children at all costs, obviously this situation at Penn State is extremely alarming. To know it's been out there for years, and Joe Paterno's legacy is now in question. That's something that needs to be put aside. We need to address alleged sexual misconduct, which has now been proven, and we need to focus on what abuse does to these children, to the rest of their lives, have empathy for these victims, and we need to discuss how we can protect children from all kinds of abuse, not just sexual, but also physical and emotional.
Jill, I have the actual copy of the grand jury indictment, and I don't dare email it because I'm concerned I'll be accused of emailing pornographic material. It's that graphic.
I think there's no question, and it's all over the news that these were heinous acts against young boys, and reading it and hearing it is no different than hearing any of the sexual abuse cases that happened with the Catholic Church, and I mean they're horrible things, and especially when they're happening to, I believe in one instance it was a 10-year-old boy. So these boys are going to be traumatized for life, and this is something that absolutely has to be addressed at Penn State, and I think they're taking the right course of action. They're dismissing people who knew what was going on, but there seems to be more than we can ever even imagine at this point that has gone on. So I think as the cards start to fall, we're going to see a lot more coming out, maybe more people who knew, who kept this under wraps. And, I bet Penn State is not a good place to be today.
The grand jury indictment even mentions one of the cleaning crew came forward and reported to his supervisor what he had seen. He had seen Sandusky with what appeared to him to be a 10-year-old, and he had him pinned in the shower, and he was so upset that the staff at Penn State were concerned he was going to have a heart attack. He was shaking, and they asked him to point the man out. The man was clearly Sandusky. So not only did he commit the crime, but then he'd hang around and then use his power to show up at the high schools as these boys grew up and have them pulled out of class, and the principal would allow it, assuming it was a sports-related incident. He used his power against all these children.
It's amazing. I mean, it is almost flabbergasting to imagine that this kind of thing can go on, but we know that it does, and it's just something that we have to deal with in the right way, go through the right channels, and get this taken care of, and get these young men some help. And I don't know how old they are now. I'm not, and maybe you do, Ruthie, but getting them help immediately.
They're in their early 20s. They're all in their early 20s, yeah.
Because this is something just like parental alienation that affects you for the rest of your life if you aren't hooked up with a great mental health professional that knows how to handle this particular type of issue. This can lead to self-esteem issues, trust issues, inability to have sex, inability to have a relationship. So there's so many things that go along with sexual abuse that this has to be addressed, and Penn State needs to step up, and the state of Pennsylvania. I mean, Joe Paterno has a legendary persona, and I think we have to put that aside, and we've got to say, look, this abuse has to come first, and we have to understand that just because this man, was a great coach for so long, and hiding this type of thing, and even though he did report it, but I just don't think anything was handled properly, and there's many issues of misconduct going on, and I'll be interested to see how this all plays out and what the end result is. And they have an opportunity to be just leaders in this particular area and show that they want to step up and do the right thing. I appreciate you taking time to talk with me about this issue because, as you know, for me, children come first, and this is just horrific.
Thank you for talking with us about it. You're the best qualified to give a statement on this. Thank you. Thank you so much, Jill.
Thanks, Ruthie. Have a great weekend.
You too. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.